3I/Atlas has done it again. Not a comet, not a rock, not anything that plays by known rules. Third confirmed interstellar object. First to behave like it knows it's being watched. The trajectory is undeniable, hyperbolic. One way, it entered the solar system from deep interstellar space at nearly 56 kilometers per second. That's fast enough to escape the sun's gravity, fast enough to never return. And yet it glows, bright, emerald, a radiance so intense that 4 space telescopes, Hubble, Webb, SOHO, and NEOWISE, have all flagged it for anomaly. Every major observatory sees the same thing: green. That glow should be easy to explain. Diatomic carbon, C2, reacting with solar ultraviolet light. Textbook chemistry. Except it's not there.
If you're still watching, subscribe now. You crave more than answers. You seek what lies beyond. Subscribe now and be part of the few who never stop searching.
No C2 in the spectrograph. Not even a trace. Instead, carbon dioxide, cyanogen, nickel in high concentrations, and critically no iron. That's not just strange. That's alien. In every solar system body studied to date, asteroids, comets, moons, iron is present, always, but not here. Whatever 3I/Atlas is made of, it didn't form near a sun like ours. It came from something colder, older, or engineered, because the green doesn't fade. It pulses, even as the object darkens from the inside out. Under its coma, larger than Jupiter, impossibly vast, something is shifting. As it approaches perihelion, nearing its closest point to the sun, 3I/Atlas should brighten. Instead, it's doing the opposite. Core dimming, surface features disappearing, a silence growing louder. Some theories stay grounded. Unknown carbon compounds, nickel-driven fluorescence, a chemical cocktail never before observed because it's never been this close. Other theories drift darker. Camouflage, a signal, a decoy, the glow masking something more complex beneath, something absorbing solar energy instead of reflecting it. Or worse, something hiding from optical surveillance by overloading sensor arrays. That's not just a scientific anomaly. That's a national security concern. Behind closed doors, defense agencies run parallel models. If the glow can overwhelm infrared and visible sensors, then 3I/Atlas isn't just an object, it's a blind spot, a moving one, a tactical void in space. If that's deliberate, it's not a comet, it's communication. No response, no message, just behavior, just physics. But physics that doesn't make sense. October 29th, 2025, perihelion. The moment the sun hits 3I/Atlas at full strength. The moment the mask slips. If it's a mask, the moment the core either flares to life or fades forever. Until then, speculation is all that remains. A comet that glows without cause. Chemistry without precedent. Motion without mission, unless there is one. Whatever it is, 3I/Atlas is not silent. It's broadcasting with its behavior. And something, somewhere, might be listening. You've seen strange things in the night sky before. Streaks of light, flaring stars, satellites blinking across the horizon. But this isn't one of them. It's not a comet. Not in any way that makes sense. 3I/Atlas has entered the solar system, and everything about it challenges what we know, or thought we knew, about interstellar objects. It's only the third confirmed visitor from another star system. That's rare. But rarity isn't what makes this one different. It's the glow. Emerald green. Brilliant. Piercing. It lights up in a way no comet should. Not just visible, blinding through the optics of 4 separate space telescopes. For independent instruments. For confirmations. And not one of them can explain it. Because this glow shouldn't exist. Under normal circumstances, that color comes from diatomic carbon. C2 molecules breaking apart under ultraviolet radiation. It's textbook cometary chemistry. But not here. The spectrometers show nothing. No C2. No expected emissions. The green is there, but the molecule responsible for it isn't, which means something else is happening. And no one knows what, You can't dismiss it as noise. The data is clean. The signatures are real. And whatever this object is emitting, it's not behaving like anything that formed in the solar system. It's not decaying like a typical comet. It's not responding to sunlight like a frozen relic from the Oort cloud. It's doing something else entirely. And that's just the beginning. This object, 3I/Atlas, is moving on a hyperbolic trajectory, a confirmed interstellar path. It's not orbiting the sun. It's cutting through the solar system at nearly 56 kilometers per second. One pass, no return, not gravitationally bound. Not from here. Its velocity confirms it. Its angle of approach confirms it. It's from somewhere else. Somewhere deep in interstellar space. And now it's here. But the motion is only part of the story. The activity is another anomaly. This thing isn't inert. It should be. Objects traveling that long, that far, through interstellar cold, usually show signs of being chemically dead. Frozen, solid, layered with radiation damage, losing mass slowly if at all. 3I/Atlas didn't get that memo. It's active, extremely so. A coma that stretches larger than Jupiter, billowing gas and dust into space at rates that don't align with the velocity, age, or presumed temperature. The nucleus is only about 500 meters wide, but the surrounding material makes it look like a planetary body. That scale of activity takes energy, and the source of that energy isn't obvious. It's not just the heat of the sun, something is sustaining it. And what the spectral analysis reveals only deepens the mystery. Carbon dioxide, present in high levels. Nickel, present, unusually concentrated. Cyanogen, also present. But iron, absent. That's not normal. Not in our solar system. Every comet, asteroid, or rocky body analyzed in our own planetary neighborhood contains some iron. It's a fundamental building block of terrestrial matter. Its absence is telling. This is a different chemical fingerprint, forged somewhere alien, a different star, a different disk, a different molecular soup. It suggests 3I/Atlas formed under radically different conditions, possibly in a planetary system that never resembled ours. And now it's cutting through our solar space like a scalpel through glass, carrying chemical signatures we've never seen in motion before. That's why it's not just astronomers who are watching. Military and defense agencies are tracking it too, because objects that emit unusual radiation, generate electromagnetic interference, or overwhelm optical sensors aren't just scientific curiosities. They're potential strategic threats. Or signals. Or both. The green glow, it's more than a chemical anomaly. It's a masking mechanism, a form of natural or artificial radiation that complicates tracking, overloads instruments, creates data voids. In a world where satellite surveillance and space-based reconnaissance depend on clean optics, that glow becomes more than a mystery. It becomes a blind spot, a vulnerability. And some are starting to ask questions that go far beyond chemistry. Is this natural, or is it deliberate? The theory isn't science fiction anymore. Not when the data keeps contradicting the models. Some researchers have proposed a third option, that the green fluorescence may be the result of a previously unidentified molecule reacting with solar radiation in ways not yet observed. Others propose a reaction involving nickel, catalyzed by solar UV, producing the emission spectrum without the need for C2. But another theory lingers, one that's harder to prove, but impossible to ignore. A signal, not a broadcast, not a beacon, but a marker, a design phenomenon, an object engineered to produce visible anomalies under specific environmental conditions. If that's true, then 3I/Atlas isn't a comet. It's a message, or worse, a test. Right now, there's no confirmation, only data, but the presence of this object, the strangeness of its composition, the artificial appearance of its brightness. It's enough to force open a conversation, because if it is artificial, it's not the kind of artificial we've seen before, and it's not passive, it's responsive. Since its discovery, 3I/Atlas has exhibited fluctuations in brightness that don't align cleanly with its distance to the sun. It pulses, not in perfect intervals, but often enough to raise suspicions. This kind of light curve variability isn't unprecedented, But it usually has causes: rotation, outgassing, structural tumbling. Here, none of those explanations fit cleanly. And as the object draws closer to the sun, the rhythm of these fluctuations has begun to change. That's where the focus shifts. October 29th, 2025. Perihelion, its closest approach to the sun. That's when everything will be pushed to the limit. Thermal stress, radiation flux, magnetic interactions. It's the moment where unknown chemistry either collapses under solar pressure or reveals something new. And that's what scientists and military analysts alike are waiting for. Because whatever happens at perihelion won't just affect brightness or trajectory. It could expose surface features, internal structure, energy, sources. If the object maintains its activity past perihelion, that changes the model. If it dims abruptly, that too becomes data. But if it does something else, something unexpected, then every hypothesis will have to be reevaluated, including the ones no one wants to say out loud. The idea of extraterrestrial technology isn't popular in scientific circles, not because it's impossible, but because it's unverifiable. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And so far, the evidence is anomalous, but not definitive. Still, the conversation is happening, because 3I/Atlas is forcing it to happen. You don't get this kind of object often. A confirmed interstellar trajectory. A strange, bright emission spectrum. Unexplained chemistry. Activity inconsistent with its age or speed. And now, global surveillance interest layered on top of pure scientific inquiry. This is a convergence event. It pulls from astrophysics, planetary science, plasma chemistry, deep space tracking, and national defense. Everyone's looking. No one agrees. And every day, the comet glows green in defiance of what the models say it should be. Whether it's a relic from a shattered planetary system, a remnant of alien chemistry, or something far more intentional, one thing is certain. It's not from here. And it's not acting like it's just passing through. When 3I/Atlas leaves, it will take with it 1,000 unanswered questions. But before that, before it disappears into the dark again, there's a chance to learn something that could redefine our place in the cosmos, or our understanding of what's watching it. This is not speculation. It's data-driven urgency. The next few weeks could confirm the object's natural origin, or push us into territory that demands entirely new models of astrophysics. Whatever the outcome, this is not a comet to forget. Subscribe now to stay ahead of the turning point. Because 3I/Atlas isn't just crossing the sky. It's crossing the threshold of what we thought we knew. And there's no guarantee we'll ever see another one like it again. You check the feeds again. For space telescopes. For independent systems. Hubble, James Webb, ESA's Euclid, NASA's IRIS, all staring at the same object, all sending back the same result. 3I/Atlas is dimming. Not slightly, not gradually, significantly, and yet there's no fragmentation, no core collapse, no observable structural instability. The comet is still intact, still emitting gases, still trailing a coma the size of a gas giant. But that emerald green glow, the one that broke every known model of cometary chemistry, it's fading, pulling back like a tide under tension. It's not behaving like a normal light curve. It's not a simple reaction to solar distance. The fade isn't uniform. It's spectral, specific wavelengths. The green is vanishing first. The rest lingers, which raises a question. Was it ever real, or was it controlled? Because now the story isn't just about an interstellar object entering the solar system. It's about that object changing its signature under observation, adjusting, hiding, adapting. That's what's caught the attention of military optical surveillance arrays. Not just a glow, but the modulation of that glow. A rapid brightness onset, a long plateau, and now a sudden collapse. This is a natural decay curve. This is an event. And if the green emission was masking something, some part of the object, some secondary structure, some function, then this fade is phase 2. Data from the spectrometer shows a persistent nickel line, still sharp, still measurable. But the cyanogen lines are fluctuating, intensifying in pulses, as though something inside the comet is interacting with UV radiation differently than before. Less scattered, more focused. Carbon dioxide emissions continue, but now they're peaking in bursts instead of streaming evenly. No fragmentation, no dust plume, no explanation. The iron absence remains total, which means whatever this object is, it still isn't following the rules. Still doesn't fit any known family of comets, asteroids, or interstellar debris. And as it approaches perihelion, the fading of the green signature becomes more than a chemical anomaly. It becomes a pattern. If you'd been skeptical before, if you thought the alien hypothesis was just noise from fringe theorists, this is the moment that changes your tone. Because now it's not just glowing. Now it's responding. And that's a word with weight. Responsiveness implies sensitivity, feedback, intent. It doesn't confirm artificiality, but it doesn't leave natural randomness untouched either, especially when the dimming follows global saturation of telescope time, as though visibility itself triggered a phase shift. This possibility, trigger adaptation, has been raised in defense circles, quietly, not in press briefings, not in peer-reviewed papers, but in private memos, intelligence briefings, surveillance summaries stamped for eyes only, because there are implications here that extend far beyond science. If an interstellar object can modify its signature in response to solar stimuli or remote observation, then it raises a possibility, however distant, that it's built to do so, which forces a question no one wants to confront. Built by what? Or worse, built for what? Is it a probe? A biological structure? A passive artifact drifting on a pre-programmed trajectory? Or is it just matter, foreign, volatile, chemically unfamiliar, reacting in ways we simply don't understand? Right now, no one can say, but everyone's watching, and the next key timestamp is locked in. October 29th, 2025. Perihelion, the closest pass to the sun, the moment of maximum thermal stress, the point at which everything, not just heat but magnetism, solar radiation pressure, solar wind, reaches its highest intensity. That's when many expect the truth to show itself. If the object's brightness returns, if the green glow reappears at peak solar exposure, it could confirm a chemical origin, some exotic molecule that activates only under narrow conditions. But if it doesn't return, if the object dims further, becomes optically cold, if the coma collapses without corresponding loss of mass, then other hypotheses gain ground, including the unspoken one, that the glow was never about chemistry, that it was a shroud, a camouflage, a visual distortion designed to flood sensor rays, blind spectrometers, corrupt targeting systems. Because light, when emitted in sufficient intensity at specific frequencies, becomes more than data. It becomes defense. And if 3i/Atlas used light as a masking field and is now shutting it down, the reason might not be exhaustion. It might be choice. That's the direction of the analysis now, not just in astronomy departments, but in classified aerospace command centers. Because regardless of origin, 3i/Atlas presents a new kind of object, active, non-repeating, spectrum shifting, compositionally exotic, trajectory clean, no inbound signal, no outbound transmissions, no detectable drive mechanism, but still exhibiting behaviors that don't align with any known passive natural body. And it's moving fast, hyperbolic, 56 kilometers per second. Once it passes perihelion, it'll gain speed. By December, it will be beyond the orbit of Mars. By spring, it will have passed Jupiter's orbit. And after that, it's gone. Out. Unreachable. Which means the window is closing. Right now, deep space tracking systems are calibrated specifically for this target. NASA, ESA, the military, international consortia, civilian astronomers. Everyone is aligned, not to capture the object, but to watch it, study it, break down its light curves, spectral transitions, gas emissions. Because if this is an artificial object, it may be the only one we ever see. And if it's not, if it's just a chemical outlier, a comet born in conditions unlike anything in our stellar disk, then it still reshapes the map. It rewrites formation theory. It forces new parameters into the model. It confirms that a galaxy is a more chaotic, chemically diverse place than we've allowed for. Either way, the implications are vast, and the clock is ticking. Some are calling for mission planning, a probe, an intercept, something fast enough to catch up, sample, study, send back data. But we don't have the time. Nothing's ready. Nothing's staged. We'll miss it. Whatever it is, it will pass by, untouched, unreached, unrepeated. And that's the part that hurts. Because this is a moment that can't be recreated. The third interstellar object in human history. And the most anomalous. The brightest. The strangest. The one that faded when we stared too long. And maybe the one that watched us back. We don't know. And maybe we won't. But what we do know is this. 3I/Atlas came in fast, lit up with a glow that defied chemistry, passed 4 telescope arrays, changed under observation, and now dims just as it approaches the sun. That's not normal behavior. That's something else. Something worth remembering, whether it's a visitor from a distant solar nursery or a manufactured probe built to hide in plain sight. This object now holds a permanent place in the record. The moment Earth watched an emerald ghost race through its sky, then fade without a sound. We may never see another like it, but if we do, we'll be watching. We'll be ready, because the sky isn't quiet, and interstellar space isn't empty. Not anymore. Every new data stream adds weight to the growing sense that 3I/Atlas is more than just another cosmic visitor. It's slowing its brightness decline, not reversing, just stabilizing, flattening out. The green emission has nearly vanished, but other parts of the spectrum remain. Carbon dioxide remains steady. Cyanogen pulses continue. Nickel lines are still clean, still strong. And iron is still missing. That silence in the data, no iron, no C2, speaks louder now than any discovery. These aren't gaps. They're absences. Intentional or not, they point to a different origin, a different chemistry, a different history. And still no debris. No spin wobble, no structural fractures, just a small, stable nucleus moving at impossible speeds through a solar system it was never meant to enter. A cold body with a hot coma, a green flare turned ghost. Telescopes lock on tighter as perihelion approaches. Infrared sensors look for thermal spikes. Spectral filters sweep for hidden lines. Radar dishes scan for bounce back. Nothing. No signals, no propulsion, no tumbling attitude shifts. The object doesn't talk. It just moves, and the question grows louder. What is the purpose of an object like this? If it's natural, it's a discovery that reshapes everything we know about planetary formation, elemental distribution, and chemical survivability in deep time. If it's not, then we're watching the first known contact with technology built beyond our star. Not a spaceship, not a probe with antennae or engines, but a thing designed to fly through a system undetected or barely noticed, glowing when needed, disappearing when watched too closely, built not to communicate, but to be seen. Once, then gone. If that's what this is, we've already missed our chance, because there is no intercept mission, no retrieval, no samples, just light, moving through darkness, recording in memory and sensor logs. For telescopes saw it. Hundreds of amateur astronomers captured it. Military sensors cataloged it. But none of them touched it. No one will. Because 3I/Atlas isn't slowing down. It won't swing back. It won't enter orbit. There's no second pass. This is it. We are left with measurements, with spectrums, with unresolved data, and one critical date. October 29th. After that, it accelerates outward, past the sun, past Mars, toward the void, and maybe back to where it came from, or where it was meant to be seen. Whatever happens, the books will remember this one, not because it confirmed alien life, but because it forced us to ask the question, seriously, scientifically, publicly, what is out there, and what does it mean when it comes here? Subscribe now for final phase of coverage as 3I/Atlas reaches perihelion. This story doesn't end when the comet fades. That's when it begins. Don't miss the moment the unknown becomes undeniable.